Sponsored by the Dunleary Ratdown Local Enterprise Office. You're listening to Business Eye with Joe Dalton and Simon Haigh.
Good afternoon and welcome to Business Eye on this bright and breezy Friday afternoon. I just need to slow down and breathe. I've had a busy week, Joe.
You have a fine haircut as well.
It's brutal.
I am telling you.
It's semi-bald.
That is the shortest I've ever seen your hair.
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
Here in Dublin, in Churchtown. My favourite barber's there in Churchtown.
It's funny when I do Zoom calls with clients and I'm looking into the Zoom and I see the reflection of myself back. I'm always going to need a haircut because my wife says when I let my hair grow too wild, I look like Ken Barlow out of Coronation Street.
Me too. Yeah, no, a shout out to Churchtown barbers. They're excellent.
But it's an eventful week. It's been an eventful week. There's a lot going on, politically. We're all sitting on the fence going with our jaws hit the ground, but we're not going to get into that today.
Yeah.
The coronavirus seems to be spreading its wings across this great world that we have, and probably scaring some people in Ireland as well. But I think it's looking at it that it's the people that are getting it at the moment are either old or sick and all. And I think
seems to be mainly isolated in China.
Yeah,
hopefully.
there's people like to talk fear and spread that negativity and cause worry in a lot of people, which doesn't have a lot of our industries on it. But there's so much going on.
I know.
There is so much going on as well that it's.
And at the end of the day, it's like that Serenity Prayer. You can only worry about what you can control. There's no point in worrying about stuff you can't control.
No.
But you need to know the difference.
But yesterday was World Radio Day.
Right.
Yes,
right.
Celebrating World Radio Day, and that's the benefits and what radio it can do for the local community. And today, roses are red, violets are blue.
Oh yeah,
I'm stuck in the studio with you,
and I need to go buy a card too.
You're gonna buy me a card? Actually, I'll say this on air. I bought my wife a lovely present for Valentine's Day, and she was disgusted. €7 floor mats from Aldi.
It's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts.
So, who have we got today?
We've got two great guests, and I think we've got a third one joining us. So first up, we have Cathy Burke from Travel Counsellors. Welcome, Cathy.
Thank you.
It's great to see you.
Good to be here. Thank you.
And then second up, we have Gary Purcell, and you're representing two parts of the same business. One is All Go, which is the business side, and the other one is All Gifts, which is the consumer side.
That's right. Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And it's interesting why I asked both of you to come in at the same time, because there is a synergy about what you do. One, travel, and the other one, team building, or getting people out into nature with all the different organisations that you have around and base and everything. So guys, tell me, Cathy, we'll start with you. How's business?
Business is really, really good.
Really?
Really, really good, yeah. Particularly this January was our best ever January. In terms of sales, we had our best ever sales day on the 31st of January, and it was really, really good, yeah.
Best ever.
Best ever, yeah. Whereas 15 years, that's best ever in Ireland, of course.
40 years in business.
Well, for those
Doesn't
who
look
don't
a day
know,
over 20.
what does your business do, in essence?
So we're travel counsellors. We are essentially a bit like a traditional, you might say, travel agent or tour operator. We sell holidays to people. We also sell business travel to people who travel for business. But where we are different from an Irish point of view, from a travel counsellor's point of view, is that all of our travel counsellors are experienced travel people, but they all work from home, and they all run their own businesses under our franchise arrangement, if you like. So we will be licensed and bonded in Ireland with the Commission for Aviation Regulation. So from that point of view, everything is pretty legit. Yeah. But all of our travel counsellors are experts at what they do.
Okay.
Has the industry changed over the last since the downfall of the Celtic Tiger. It massively has. In what way has it changed?
Well, when we started in business in Ireland in 2005, the SSIA, remember the SSIA scheme that the government had, was in full flow, and I think we were 2 years into business when everybody got their money.
God, I forgot about that.
And
we built a conservatory, I remember that.
Yeah, well, a lot of people went on holiday, so it was a frenzy, as you can remember, of people spending money. And happily, a lot of them spent money with us on holiday, and people went. I suppose during that boom time, people just spent money and didn't really think a huge amount about it. But now, the difference now is as well, the world has gotten more accessible for us. We would sell an awful lot of places and send people to places that they would never have thought of before. So whilst people still like their 5-star and their luxury or semi-luxury, their Irish people particularly are an awful lot more adventurous in the type of holiday they go for.
Do you know, I did a count on how many destinations that have been, not countries but destinations, so it could be England, Scotland, Wales, about 135 destinations I've been to.
How many countries roughly?
Oh my God.
Because we did this, we've got a board at home with my wife, my 2 daughters and me. And our youngest daughter, Alice, had been to 32 countries by the age she was 18.
All over Russia.
We lived in Australia.
All over Russia, all over Europe, all over America, Vietnam, Thailand,
probably
Malta,
pushing 40.
You should be a travel counsellor, Joe. You're wasted in this job.
Yes. I even travel around the world 3 times on aircraft carriers in 6 months. So
I haven't done that.
I haven't done it. I have no wish to.
No, really.
and Chinooks as well. It's been an interesting travel.
And it's only just beginning.
Yes. And talking about Chinooks and talking about travelling and all, Gary, one of the things I love about your organisation is you basically are a one-stop shop for anyone that wants to have a bit of fun. That's what I'm picking up, but maybe explain a little different.
Yeah, sure. So our business has been going for over 10 years. We actually launched our consumer website, allgifts.ie, in 2008, just in time for Christmas and just in time for the big recession to start. So really good timing. And the website, what it set out to do was to allow people to go on and find a really good gift and to be able to immediately buy it, download it as a voucher, send it by email or print it out and give it to people. That's how we started out, with a lot of really good outdoor adventure type experiences, car racing, rally driving, jumping out of airplanes, flying helicopters, and all that sort of stuff. Really exciting. And since then, it sort of has developed along. The market has developed along. People's tastes, a little bit like in travel, has developed along as well. We're actually seeing now probably more lifestyle, more retail, more of those type of sedentary type experiences as opposed to the ones that can kill you.
Why did you get into it? There was obviously, you saw an opening in the market 10 years ago. What was that opening?
Well, it's funny, like it was never really a grand plan, but it was, I guess, an evolution. So I worked in a lot of corporate type companies, did the whole corporate ladder climbing bit, and eventually ended up in a position where I was made redundant and I had some time and I started thinking about what I wanted to do. Met a good college friend of mine and we decided to set up a website. And that website was called Wedding Wishlist, and this is back in about 2005. It was the idea, which was her idea and was a great idea, was to allow people getting married to put a wedding list together with things on it from lots of different shops rather than just the one. So really good idea. We launched it. It was reasonably successful, but it couldn't scale. It's too small a country. And what we unfortunately found out was that a lot of people want cash for their wedding, understandably. So
the receipt.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. So that didn't quite work. So I took over the website and basically opened it up so that anybody could buy all the great stuff that we had managed to accumulate and put on there from all our different partners across the country. So we opened up allgifts.ie. That was great. People could buy gifts, send them instantly, and it's still going strong today.
So what about the business side, the All Go side? Is that related, or are they completely different, or how does that tie in?
So what happened was, originally the whole idea was gifts and instant vouchers for consumers. That was all great. Unfortunately, the recession hit, and interesting enough, then what we found was that it wasn't just private people, consumers, buying gifts and sending them on vouchers. There was a lot of businesses on there.
That's huge, yeah.
Yeah, and they were doing things like incentivizing sales, they were thanking their staff, they were rewarding customer loyalty, and all this was happening on our website, and therefore the idea came about, well, why don't we develop specific products or specific services just for corporates. And that's what we did. We developed an all-go points platform which allows companies like Volkswagen to incentivize sales of their cars across the country.
So that's what you mean, because I looked at LinkedIn, it says incentive marketing. So
Yes.
that's what you mean.
That's what we mean now. Okay. And now, 90% of our business is B2B. It's incentives and rewards and helping companies get the most out of people.
That's cool.
It's interesting when speaking to listen to both of you, and you were right that Ireland is so small. It's 4.5 million. So we have to be, for a country, when someone comes in, we're coming into Ireland, we're going to open a branch in Ireland, and they on their board in America goes, great, we've hit another country. Yeah, it's like a shop down the road that you've basically come to. So as Irish, we are very creative on how we can grow our businesses, and we do go out of this to grow it. And the thing is, we love travelling. I always believe that every person in Ireland should go away for at least 1 year, because if you go away, you come back a different person. Yeah. I came back with Simon.
Don't tell anybody.
and that's the beauty of it, is that we're very creative, and we both of what you do is it's about people having a bit of crack.
It's very cool.
It is, but I also think it's all about personal as well. So particularly when it comes to travel, you can say somebody can buy their holiday online, they can go online and buy it for themselves. Yeah. But it's what we do is all about getting to know the customer, finding out where they want to go, building a personal relationship with them, so that when they're on holiday, the first person they think of when they want to take a picture and send it is their travel counsellor.
Yeah.
And that when they come back, that's the first person that they'll phone as well. I find I travel quite a lot as well, obviously, and when nobody really wants to know anymore when I come back, my family just are not interested in how Vietnam was at Christmas. Nobody cares, but my colleagues do, and all of the people within the industry love to hear about it, and like their customers when they go on holidays and come back, they're the first people they talk to.
There's nothing worse than sitting down and watching someone's slideshow
photos
on holiday. Oh, this is brilliant. I wasn't there. I hate you even more.
They don't even do that now. They don't even ask you what it was like, unless they want to go themselves.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's funny how we all have these amazing stories, and it's about memories.
That's right.
I have great memories of Mondello, and I have great of Formula One, and I've great times of holidays that I went on that when I think about them brings me back to a time that was.
I have great memories of a Japanese granny telling me to hurry up on the top of Sydney Bridge because I was the only one scared of heights.
You're very brave. I only take pictures of it from the bottom. I'm not.
I was terrified.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, folks, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Business Eye, sponsored by your local enterprise office in Dunleary Rathdown. Together, we're making it happen.
And welcome back. While I'm talking, Joe is sitting here stuffing his face with chocolate.
We just got some chocolate. Gary was kind enough to bring us in some chocolate. I actuing think it maybe was for his wife, but when I asked him,
it's clearly now for you.
He felt guilty and decided to give it to us. So I'm eating it with coffee. So I'm going to be quiet for the next half hour.
So, Cathy, I'm fascinated to know where are the most popular places right now for different categories of people?
Yeah, it depends on the different category of people. Our top selling destination in the last, let's say, 4 months is the USA. No matter what happens, everybody wants to go to the USA. So it's fabulous for families, for Florida. It's great for people go to Vegas, people drive, people do the highway drives all down the West Coast. So that's really popular. This year, we're 150% up on South Africa. Wow. So a lot of people going to South Africa. It's great value for money, and it's just just the most fascinating country.
Is that
Wow.
before all the animals are extinct?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Well, you get to see an awful lot, and now everything is sustainable. Everything is about.
I think people it's security, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't ride the elephants, and if you
Yeah,
go to a
yeah.
place where you ride elephants, that is so not politically correct.
No. Do they do
So
the garden route and all that
the
stuff?
garden route,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's lots of safaris along the garden route, so you don't need to get any malaria. There's no
Okay.
malaria along the garden route, only up around Joburg, that area. So
What about Morocco? I'm asking because I'm going there a week's time with my wife and kids. Is that getting more popular or less popular?
it's kind of gone a bit flat, in fairness.
Really?
There used to be charter flights a few years ago.
That's right, to
Aer Lingus
Agadir.
had direct flights.
That's
and
right.
then when the kind of terrorism happened in Tunisia and was happening, they pulled Morocco because people weren't going. So, I mean, it's fascinating. Are you going to Marrakesh?
Yeah, we went last year.
All
We
right,
loved it.
okay, it's
We loved
beautiful.
it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Loved it, yeah.
And that's really a terrible shame that
Yeah.
an incident happens somewhere.
That's
and
not-
Up in
it
the mountains,
affects-
yeah, I know.
and it affects all those other
Yeah,
countries.
yeah.
It's
If you
very
look
sad.
at it, if you look at the time that 9/11 hit America,
That's right.
that was the time that the world collapsed
That's
and
right.
travel collapsed, and
Yeah.
that's where Ryanair bought. They bought all their
That's right.
planes.
That's
at the
exactly
time.
right.
And to have survived that, I remember. I'm in the business. We've been through lots of disasters, or I have. But I do remember that the look. Obviously, how sad it was and everything, but just everything stopped the next day.
Yeah.
Everything.
Has the culture changed in Ireland, where where it used to be the whole family holidays, and younger people now, are they looking for as the weekend break now just exploded? And the reason why I mention it is because with all the Europeans and the foreign nationals that are living in Dublin alone, what people don't know is their parents are visiting them here during the week or off season.
Yeah.
They're coming, and that's something like I read somewhere it was like something like 5 billion it was bringing in to the economy alone.
It's amazing. I did a piece of work with an aviation company in December, and they had 200 staff from 37 countries.
That's right.
It's incredible.
And it's the same in Cork, because in Cork we have Apple, of course, with a huge amount of employees. My husband has his own walking tours business in Cork, so he does walking tours of the city. And he said the amount of times during the summer that there's family and friends of people who are working up in Apple going on the walking tour, getting to know the city while
We did
the
that.
family are still working.
Yeah, we did that in Dublin actually. We, instead of going away one year, we basically brought the kids on all the the Viking rides and all this, and seeing what it was. And
Hometown holiday.
I learned two things about Dublin. One was there was a lot of history that I didn't know, and the second thing, it was bloody expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive.
That's it on it. Gary, what are families jumping into some of the stuff that your clients that you're representing, or is it just stag parties or hen parties? I want to try and just clarify on that, or is it all?
Yeah, so it's on all gifts. People are buying gifts in it for them, not for themselves, for their loved ones. Sometimes for families. But
Like floor mats.
Was that?
Like floor mats.
No, not like formal. More experiential. So what used to sell an awful lot and still does to a large degree is anything to do with airplanes and anything to do with driving experiences.
Yeah.
So that could be Mondello Park, and you can learn how to drive a racing car, or you could do a rally driving down in Waterford. You can jump out of an airplane. You can do airplane simulations in different places. There's helicopter lessons. I was amazed when we first set up the business, started looking for really good gifts and interesting things, unusual things to be able to offer people, how much there is out there in Ireland to do. It's amazing.
What's the criteria for someone to be involved in your business? I'm sure you have a level to keep your prestige high. What are the criteria that they have? Like, it's not some guy down the road with a wheelbarrow,
Yeah, exactly.
Father Ted special.
Yeah, well, on one hand, we're always looking for something new and unusual, something that isn't there already, but it needs to be done in a particular way. It needs to be top of its class in whatever it's offering. It needs to be something that we think our customers are going to be interested in, and it's going to have to not really clash with similar maybe businesses that we have on the site already, because it's not fair to just compete.
Is it seasonal? A lot of it.
Yeah, it's very seasonal, of course, because 50% of all gifts are bought at the end of the year for Christmas. But then throughout the year, you have people buying gifts for birthdays, for big occasions like Mother's Day. Not so much Valentine's, although that does happen a little bit. Father's Day is now pretty big as well. Buying gifts in the.
I've got to tell my wife and kids that.
Buying for teachers at the end of the school year. So there are actual occasions throughout the year, but of course, Christmas is the big one.
Like, I'm sure that both of you in your businesses are very creative, and you're always looking to stay ahead of your competition. You know, it's ongoing. It's about learning. It's about being curious. And I'm going to open up to both of you. Cathy, I'll ask you first. What do you see is happening in your industry, and what sort of strategies or thoughts do you have to counterbalance what's coming down the road, if there is anything coming down the road?
I think the traditional shop front of a travel agency is probably going to have its day very soon. I think specialist is really vital and important. I think that customers ultimately, people will not need a travel agent to book the weekend break unless there's something specific they want. They probably won't need travel agents to book a 2-week holiday in Mallorca. But what they will need travel agents for is the more difficult things that either they get too confused by the amount of choice out there, things like cruising, things like long haul, because no matter what, we still have better airfares than you can find online. And we also know the best way to go. So we will always save a customer money than they would by trying to find it themselves. So what we're selling is our personal experience, I suppose. And that is, and people, now we have a lot of people that have travelled all over the world. So back in the day when I worked on the counter, they were coming to you because you were the only one that had travelled. Now everybody travels. It's not a big deal.
We were speaking about this earlier on. It's that the industry is, I don't want to sell you one holiday. I want to sell you all your holidays, and I want to come part of your network. And with the brick and mortar closing, okay, internet has given us a wider audience, but the brick and mortar closing, has that caused other challenges for yourselves to keep that together?
No, I don't think so, because our travel counsellors, as I said, they would build a relationship with the customer. They'll go out and meet the customer if they want in the local coffee shop, in the local hotel, in their own home if they wish.
Home visit.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's one-to-one, it's personal. What used to kind of annoy me about a shop was that you would be sitting there talking about your holiday, and everybody down the line is listening to it,
and they'll be talking to each other as well.
And during the recession, that was a big thing. People didn't want, if they had the money and they were spending it, they didn't want anybody in the local town or the neighbourhood to know they were spending their money. So I think that it has to be a bit more private and
holiday
discerning.
is a really special thing. Most people only have one holiday or maybe 2 a year, and it's really special and private, isn't it?
Has to be, and it has to be right. And the other thing is that if something goes wrong the day you arrive, the first person you should be phoning is your travel counsellor or whoever booked the holiday for you. And we do that. We have a 24/7 response unit.
So it's connecting with that.
So it's instant. Yeah.
Gary, the same with yourself. What's with what's coming down the road and just strategizing.
Well, for us, a lot of it is around technology. We have our own technology platform that runs our voucher system and also our All-Go recognition programs for companies and incentive programs for companies. So it's very, very difficult, I think, to keep up with the technology as it develops. And I think especially for small companies as well, like ourselves, to be able to develop our own technology is very expensive. And in this country, it's very hard to get people who can help you with that. So there are challenges there, and for us, if I was to have to flick a switch or click my fingers and have more technology in our business, it would be fantastic.
In terms of attracting people, suppliers to your website, do you go out actively looking for them, or how does that work, or do they come to you, or how does that work?
Yeah, a little bit of both actually.
Yeah.
Probably more people approaching us now than us going out because we have 200 different reward partners, gift partners as we call them. And so we have a good offering across most sectors, but we're always on the lookout for something new, something unusual.
Yeah.
But we get approached by a lot of people, and we turn a lot of people down.
Yeah.
It's interesting when we're looking at the demographics of who our audience are. I don't think a lot of people realise that there was a recession. They realise the recession, but there was a segmentation of the market that got stung in that recession. And even though that we've come out of that, that segmentation is still recovering from that. And some of them will never recover. You know, there's people who are in the 45s or in 55s who got burnt and lost millions. And they will never recover. And that segmentation, and even looking the way people voted in the general election, it's the generation now from the 18 to the 35 are the ones that we're looking at. We tend to do business with people of our own age, or our own demographic. And companies that do that will have difficulty. You have to expand to look at those younger generations, and like an outlet now, those younger generations, for a business to survive on it.
But I reckon that feeds into corporate gifts as well, because I've got a bit of an interest in this space. I'd imagine the sort of corporate gifts that people would be buying through you would be very different in 5 or 10 years than now.
Sure, yeah.
Do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, well, I think on the corporate gifting side and on that incentive side of our business, what's happening is digitization. So instead of getting, maybe a watch or a clock or something physical, people want to be rewarded right now and to receive it in a digital format, and they can spend it on their phone immediately.
What is the demographic that sort of you're attracting for both of you?
For us, it's all ages. Our demographic would be people that are close to retirement age, but also honeymoons. So very, very young as well. So all for us, yeah, I would say.
And yourself?
Well, on the all gift side of things, women are better purchasers of gifts than men.
Men are brilliant.
Although men are good on Christmas morning when they're stuck.
It could be men with, women purchasing with the men's credit card.
Well, that could be
buying buy yourself a gift. Cathy, you're going to be leaving us now shortly. Gary, you're going to hang on. Cathy, where can people, if they want to inquire about your services for holidays, connect with someone in their local area? Give us the details there, please.
Travelcounsellors.ie, so it's COUNSELLORS.ie, and when you go on there you can just search for your local travel counsellor. We've 81 in the Republic of Ireland at the moment, so you're bound to find one. And on there they all have blogs about places they've been and their expertise. So you don't necessarily have to book with somebody local. You might look at somebody in Galway and say, oh, she's been to Vietnam, that's where I want to go and connect with that person.
So there's a connection in everyone.
That's right.
And like a lot of our audience would be LinkedIn as well. So if someone wanted to reach out to you on LinkedIn, how would they find you?
Cathy Burke, Travel Counsellors. I'm on LinkedIn. Yeah, be delighted to hear from people.
Simon, I think we'll take a quick break now. Cathy, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're listening to Business Eye, sponsored by your local enterprise office in Dunleary Rathdown. Together, we're making it happen.
And welcome back to Business Eye, sponsored by Dunleary Rathdown Local Enterprise Office. Hashtag
Making it happen.
That's it. So for this third bit, we've got a new guest. We still have Gary here, but we have Rían. I was calling you Rían. Rían Lanigan.
Correct. Great to meet you.
And you. Welcome.
Rían is. I met Rían. He was in the audience at a JCI probably in January. That's it. That's when I was doing a talk on goal settings, and I said I don't believe in goals. You've been busy since then. You've got into the sales training sort of network, and look, there's a lot going on in the sales training network. But one of the things as well, which I think what a lot of people miss, is communication.
Agreed.
And when I say communication, we all talk about sales processes and sales process, but there's an element to it as well, and it's one of the things I focus on is presentation on it. So tell me, what are you picking up in the marketplace out there at the moment? Is there a lack of sales training, sales communication, or is it Are people becoming more professional in the networking?
I don't think. Good question. I don't think there's a lack of sales training.
A good sales training.
Go to Joe Dalton. What I think is that it's viewed as a one and done. I think reinforcement is huge, whether that's on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis. But it's down to the manager themselves to hold their team accountable to get trained. But if we look past that, it's really effort put into communicating with people. I'm sure everyone in the room here has got LinkedIn messages or emails that they take one glance at and it's either too long to read or they haven't done their homework. I get messages from people asking me, can they help me with LinkedIn marketing? If they did one bit of research, they'd know that that's not something that I'm looking for help with. So
I get 10 a week saying, can I help you with a website? And I've got 2 brand new websites.
Yeah, I know you
It
looked
drives me nuts.
one. I've looked at your website and it's really crap. I don't have a website.
I get that one as well, yeah.
So is sales more about authentic influencing? Is that what you're
To me, it's just about communication between two people.
Yeah.
It's all about helping. That's at the end of the day, and it's about us all trying to make a living. And there's one thing I do believe in the sales process, no matter if that's through leads or through marketing or one-to-one conversations. People are not aware that they need something until you disturb them enough to know that they need it. I don't need a sales, a gift, but when I come across your product or someone get it, it sparks interest in me. Do you know that element on it with it that? But it's how you present that to people that they kind of go, actually, you're dead right. I see the value in it. People will buy something if they see the value in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a very, very interesting industry to be in because you're essentially trying to market a product to someone that they don't know or don't believe that they need as a sales trainer.
Or they don't know that they don't need. Or
that
they don't know that they could need.
The worst thing that I remember, 20 years ago,
Or 40 maybe.
40 years ago, is when I was getting.
You don't
into
look a
the
day
whole-
over 20,
I know. I look.
He
You
is.
wouldn't
He is.
think. Fighting fists. That's all that swimming and doing.
And chocolate.
And chocolate.
Soon to be rugby as well.
And soon to be rugby. Shh. It's really about when people are sort of selling gifts or selling sales training or selling leadership.
Yeah.
And you're it is a process. Not everybody will buy off you.
Yep.
There's only a certain amount of people that will, and there's not. And you have to kind of realise, okay, I know these people will never buy off me. But I'm a sales trainer. I'm meant to be selling to everybody. You can have that mindset, or I'm a gift. So it's eliminating all that.
It's connecting with the right people in the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's why you got to stay away from the spray and pray approach.
Absolutely.
And just identify who you're looking for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The target audience on it.
A small bit of research will
Spray and pray. I
spray
love
and
that.
pray, yeah.
That sums it up.
Yeah. Gary, with yourself, what sort of strategies do you get into in that whole approach? Is it SEO, or do you have people on the phone connecting with people, especially getting into the business network, or is it just
just what Rían said there? We spend a lot of time on the business side, just focusing on the right type of person to connect to or to target to, because there's so much noise out there that you can waste. If you're trying to get your message out to the wrong type of person, or the message to the right type of person with something that you don't have, you're just wasting your time, and you're wasting their time as well. And time is really the most valuable commodity for both the buyer and the sellers.
The only thing that we don't have enough of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and it's so busy out there now, so noisy with all the digital social media and everything that people contend with in their daily lives. So when we're trying to sell our services to HR managers or the financial controller in a company, or maybe the managing director of a company, and we're trying to get them to look at the whole idea of tax-free gift cards or incentive programs for their staff, we really need to cut cut through and have a message that resonates with them. And for us, a lot of the time, that's giving them non-salesy, free content of value, and giving them it's chocolate and business reports. And
I'm
things
interested in social media and things like LinkedIn. Are they, from your perspective, Rían, is, for example, LinkedIn getting more or less cluttered, more or less valuable? What are you seeing?
Something interesting was said there a moment ago around the messaging side of things, and it will lead to my answer on this. But I use a great tool, and I don't have stock in it, and they haven't paid me to say it, but I use a great tool called Owler.com. What that allows you to do is input the name of the business you're trying to target, and then every day it will give you an update, and it will trigger you if events happen, leadership change, IPO rumour,
That's same as
press release.
Navigator, is it? Or?
Similar to Navigator, yeah, as well. And then as soon as you get a hit from someone you're interested in, you're doing a very responsive message on time with what you're trying to say.
Okay. Owler.com.
Owler.com is what I use. But
one of the concerns, and I think that everyone, the service is when we get to prospecting, and it's following up, and we can have all the systems in place, and we can have all the great ideas, but we're human. We do forget. People do fall through the cracks. You're working on a project and you have your lovely diary there, and you go, oh my God, I forgot to call them, because that's human nature on it.
Yeah.
And it is a numbers game. It is a numbers game. The more people you speak to, but it's speaking to those right people. It's understanding who, as you said, Gary, it's understanding who your client is. But is there a concern where, like which I see, we talked about it, where social media is people are connecting with people, like on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my Rolodex. I just connect with everyone there. I get all my business. We do we get people from the show from there. Yeah. And I find that some people go from connect to sale. They don't build the trust or the love between them. So someone connects with you, and then suddenly you get that, hi,
this from me.
I'm selling shares in Nigeria, and my prince father, oh my God, another one, deadly, I'm going to be a billionaire now, a billionaire. But do you find that, both of you, that people jump from connection and into the sale without the conversation or the nurturing? Or
well, I mean, it's okay to go straight to the sale if it's what the person wants, but how do you know what the person wants until you've actually developed some sort of relationship or understanding of them? And that's really what it's all about, to be able to do that.
What do you find is the biggest issue that you come across, or the one thing that shakes your head repeatedly when you're speaking to people in sales training?
Lack of research put into what you're trying to do, lack of time.
That's in everything.
You've always said that. And it's right.
It's customer on it. On it.
There's no real shortcut, is there? There's no magic algorithm to sell stuff. You have to put in the effort, don't you? You have to research.
You have to like what you're doing.
There's no point.
Well, I would also say listening is key in sales, because unless you're actually listening to what the other person is saying, you're actually just sort of preaching. You're not actually really connecting and providing them with a solution.
I heard something a couple years ago. I was at a conference, and the one thing I remember coming away with was, when somebody's talking, if you pause for 3.2 seconds, the average person can last silence for just under 3 seconds. And the amount of information that I've managed over the last 3 years to gather from just pausing for those 2 or 3 seconds, and you, it's essentially listening, and you get so much more information from people. People are willing to tell you anything if you ask in the right way, or if you just shut up and listen.
That period between the stimulus and the response, that gap, that's where the opportunity is.
But also, if you're going into a presentation, and we know there's a point where you ask that question and you want the answer, and we all know he who speaks next loses. Do you know that saying? And that 3 seconds, 4 seconds can feel like 4 or 5 minutes. Do you know, when you're sitting there and you go, and if the other person knows what you're doing, so we all come across, and our people trying to sell to us, and we know the art of selling. So you kind of test someone to see on their sales ability, and they'll ask a question, and you'll just sit there, and you won't say anything, and you'll watch them panicking, and it's so beautiful.
It's a bit sad as well at times.
It is good on it. the sales training that you're using, that's from a franchise, isn't it?
Yes. Sandler training.
Sandler training, and we've had some of the guys here on one of the other shows who work in that network. What, in your opinion, makes it different from other sales training processes that are out there?
Reinforcement, weekly reinforcement, would be the key differentiator. I see a lot of the others. I'm not going to name any trainers to put them under the bus, but I see trainers come in and they'll fly into a city, do a seminar, and then they'll leave. And that's great, but you're not going to remember what they taught you a week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. Well, you're not going to remember what a Sandler trainer tells you if you go today. You're not going to remember that by next Thursday.
That's a great point. A colleague of mine talks about the analogy of baseball players. They only become great baseball players by doing this hundreds of times every day. You don't become great by just luck.
But it's, again, when I martial arts, Wing Chun, we used to it's practice on it and the wooden dummy. But with sales, I say it's like riding a bicycle. People will go to college and they will learn to get their degree, or they will take up a sport and they will practice to get it right. Why don't people practice sales? Why do people think they just have a great product and all they do is just talk? Why? What's the mental block there that people don't practice on it?
Well, one of the amusing things for me in business is that we take on interns from DCU every year. It's a fantastic program. They're business students in third year. They stay with us for 11, 12 months. So we really get to know them, train them up, and they're fantastic people, fantastic attitude. I can't say enough good things about them. However, every year when they start, they all have the same quirk, which is this, that they won't or don't want to speak on the phone. So they don't actually want to speak to anyone. Either outbound to inquire about something or inbound if somebody's calling in. And it's a real cultural thing now because, of course, everyone, ourselves included, especially the younger generation, like being on their phone, communicating in all the modern ways, but not talking.
One of the last jobs to go, I think, is going to be salespeople, because it's all that human connection and perception.
First as accounts.
And lawyers, hopefully.
And lawyers, definitely. We'll put them all in them.
Like I say, I used to be a lawyer, so I can say that.
Gary, where can people find you if they want to tap into the products and the service, or book that sort of adventure or whatever for their staff or for their family? Yeah,
so we have two websites. If you're looking to buy something instantly, download it, send it either privately or for a company, go to allgifts.ie. That's allgifts.ie. And if you're looking for a corporate program, a reward program, or incentive program, or tax-free gift cards for your company, then allgo.ie is the website.
Excellent. Yourself, if someone wants to book yourself or find out more about the Sandler's sales training program, where can they get you?
LinkedIn is the best place.
Give them your details.
Rían Lanigan. Type that in. I don't know if anybody else is called Rían, or I haven't certainly come across.
But one of the things I love about your stuff as well, Rían, is you were really, before the sales it was really about marketing, and it was about getting people noticed, and some of the stuff that you were doing out there was very creative and is still creative than what other people are doing. So I commend you on that.
I appreciate that.
And when I've seen some of the stuff you're doing, I kind of went, he's got this, he's got it. So are you still doing that end, or are you mainly, so you're working on both ends, or you? All right. And it's busy man on it. Simon?
Next week I'm working with Jason Cooper in delivering the deal closing program at ISME. Then on Sunday I'm flying off to 27 degrees Morocco to lie down for a week and do nothing.
Are you not here that Friday then for the radio?
Oh no, Sunday.
Oh, okay.
But the following Friday I won't be here. I've just told you now.
Oh, I won't be here either.
But there's two guys in here.
Oh no, will I be here? Oh no, we'll see.
We'll figure it out.
And myself, I'm again just keep plodding away, making money, having fun. And then on the 2nd of March, I'm with Enterprise Week, speaking on sales presentation as well, a workshop. So busy. That's the next one.
Busy.
Folks, it's been wonderful. Thank you guys for coming into the studio.
Thank you.
And to all our wonderful listeners out there, you have a super weekend, and we will catch you next week, Friday, 1 o'clock on Business Eye with myself and Simon.
Thank you.
Take care.